The essential question is, how do Newton's laws describe the interactions between objects? The force applied is the force applied to an object from another object. An example of this would be a man pushing a block across a surface.
The normal force would be the force that supports another object when it is resting on top of a surface. An example would be a table holding up a book.
The friction force is the force from the surface as an object moves across it. An example of this would be that the motorcycle slows down due to friction from the terrain.
Tension force is the force that comes when an object is suspended by a rope or a string. An example of this would be a monkey hanging from a branch.
Drag force is a force similar to friction. However, it is when an object is in the air. An example of this would be a skydiver hitting terminal velocity.
Gravitational force is the force exerted on every object on the Earth from the Earth. An example of this would be shoes staying on the ground due to gravity.
Spring force is the force from a spring when it pushes or pulls the object that is attached to it. An example of this would be the spring holding up a horse. The two quantities are very similar. Mass and weight are two different things.
Mass is the property of matter that an object contains. Weight is the force exerted on a body by gravity.
Weight changes with the change of gravitational force. Mass is consistent and stays the same no matter how much the gravitational force is. Mass is a scalar quantity, whereas weight is a vector quantity.
Mass is measured in kilograms and weight is measured in newtons. However, both quantities are proportional. Newton's first law states that an object at rest tends to stay at rest and an object in motion tends to stay in motion with the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force.
An example of this would be if a person is falling at constant terminal velocity, then the forces will become equal. The drag force and gravitational forces balance out.
If there is a net force exerted on an object, the object will have an acceleration and the object's velocity will change.
An example of this would be that a bicycle is able to accelerate because the applied force is greater than the frictional force, which causes the forces to be unbalanced. The net force equation states that if the applied force is greater than the frictional force, then the forces are unbalanced. Newton's third law states that in every interaction, there is a pair of forces acting on the two interacting objects. The size of the forces on the first object equals the size of the force on the second object.
Man pushes car right, car pushes man left.
Foot hits soccer ball forward, soccer ball hits foot backwards.